Hello, it's Reverend Megas. We're going to do a reading for folks, and it's been a bit since I've done one, but I've realized two things. One, the readings that I give are really for a very specific, smaller collective, and they're people who, well, if you find it, then it's for you, obviously, right? But the other thing is that I have been focusing on getting my stuff together because I'm headed overseas to Wales, and around the end of September. I have a wonderful opportunity over there to hang out in a sustainable community and figure that out and work on my hollow bone journey healing work and putting together some courses. I'm going to be offering some online classes in shadow work, and I work with ancestors, so it's going to be ancestors and angels, and it's going to be a bit of accelerated shadow work because we could do this in real life and it would take us forever. But I work with a lot of ancestors, and I, of course, work with Hades and other psychopomps. In healings that I've done before, people's ancestors have come in and said, you know what? You're carrying too much of a burden. We're going to take some of this off of you and heal that. And that's what we're doing. That's what I'm doing with a lot of ancestors right now. We are coming into a very, very interesting time of human ascension, evolution, whatnot, in order to give us the best chances. It's time to open our hearts. It's time to heal. A lot of this generational stuff has been going on for generations. Silly. And if there's one thing that the work that I do, this hollow bone work, we can work miracles. Angels can come in and change that. And so I'm very excited to offer that to people. The other thing that these courses will focus on is not just doing shadow work, but also learning how to support each other, learning how to exist in community and support our friends and our community in more constructive and healthy ways, which is so important right now. Okay, so I'll talk about that later. But I'm going to be using the Wildwood Tarot today, and we are going to get the best message for the collective today. Thank you, Spirit. Let's see what it is we need to know. I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing the spread yet. I feel like they want me, they might actually want me to do a spread here. Um, Smaller spread. Oh, maybe. Maybe not. What do we have? Two of Arrows, Injustice. Eight of Cups. Five of Cups. This is so interesting. Okay, so with the Two of Arrows here, I love we've got this is so almost Egyptian. You've got the feather, which is truth, right? Feather of Ma'at. And then you have the coins here, right? The feather is shining. What this is saying is that the truth is very, very valuable. The truth is worth its weight in gold, as it were. But this woman, this figure here, will not look at the scales, does not want to see the truth, is simply holding these arrows, refusing to look at the truth, and also has this bow under her feet. So it is like I'm, sitting here, not moving, refusing to look at the truth, and that bow under her feet. She's almost sitting. It's one of those old chairs that is the half circle on top and bottom, which are I think it's very Greek. Her foot is on a stone. The bow is on a stone. Her foot is on the bow. She has the arrows in her hand. She is ignoring the truth. And what this says to me is that it's out of defense. We're letting go of old patterns right now. Our need to defend ourselves, our need to, it's like almost like she fears that the truth will hurt her. And that's not because the truth that she needs to see is pain, it's not actually hurtful. It is simply the truth. The truth may not be comfortable. The truth, may cause some discomfort, but it does not hurt us. It's not hurting us in the sense of holding us back. It's not sending us, into destruction, but it is the truth. We have to transform right now. We have to face the truth. We need to drop our defenses and really look at what's going on. Um, because in the idea of protecting ourselves not from harm but discomfort, we are ignoring important truths, that Eight of Vessels, rebirth. Oh, I love this one so much. Look at that. So we've got this big fat cauldron. We've got three little cauldrons on top, all pouring into this big one, which is then pouring into these little ones and feeding the stream. And it's really interesting that you have these three little cauldrons, these three little cups there, three little vessels on bare tree, um, all pouring into this giant vessel, so much that it overflows. There's four underneath, four of cups. And the water is also spilling into the stream. The four cups at the bottom aren't full. But there is water on the rocks that is dripping into the stream. We need, well, it's time to change. We are going through a lot of rebirths, and like I said, we're in a very interesting time where we need to open our hearts and really look at what is actually filling our cups, and how much it's filling our cups. Is there a balanced give and take? Are we offering, are we holding up an empty cup and expecting everybody else to fill it for us? Are we holding up a half empty cup and, somebody else has the same, we're pouring it back and forth? Or are we working with each other to make sure everyone's cups are full? The cups, the three of cups on the top, which is, celebration, it feels like and they're almost empty, even though and that big one is overflowing. So it feels like we have been holding ourselves back from our own fulfillment. And what do we have here? Five of Cups, ecstasy. I love this Five of Cups. I love this Five of Cups so much. Look at the transformation that has come through that. Look at the alchemy, versus the regular Five of Cups in most other decks. She has transmuted and alchemized that pain into growth, and transformation, and is celebrating that when, and that's the imagery in the other cards, in your traditional Rider Waite imagery, you've got the hooded figure who's staring at the spilled cups, two spilled cups, but yet has more behind that are still there. This one is just a step further, where we are celebrating our independence. We are learning and growing through the loss and filling ourselves with spirit instead. And truly, I think we've been struggling with an imbalance in how we've been giving and receiving in the world. And not just that, but a misunderstanding of what it means to honestly give and receive. Um, the word breadcrumbing just came to my mind, and I know there's a lot of problems with people who give a lot, people who have a lot to give often find themselves in positions where, they're just being themselves and giving a lot. And people are not balancing that out. There is no balanced give and take. But people who enjoy what they're being given may breadcrumb, may give a little bit, may half fill your cup. And we're healing the idea that that cup will ever be full from those situations. We're truly looking at the truth of it, which is, how much is my cup getting filled up? Historically, what does that look like? And we're understanding what situations are no longer fulfilling us and no longer, um, and not actually giving us the fullness of connection and love and growth that we get through our personal relationships and friendships. The green woman, this is the Empress in number 3 major arcana. She's got two little creatures on her hand. She's got this little woody guy, and she's got this interesting little beastie over here who almost looks like a fox with a dragon's tail, and they all have antlers. Oh my gosh, and Sheila Nagig down there in the middle. That is a full cauldron. That is very light, very white, reminds me of these vessels, right? You can see that glow, that light, that divine, divine unconditional love. And the Empress, is not trying to make, as opposed to the Emperor card with the green man, where he's actively making magic, doing things, working to control, working to do this, working to do that. She is observing. And indeed, I believe she's scrying. And so she has her nature spirits and her nature companions, and they are sitting in that stillness, not seeking out new directions, not trying to force things to happen or feeling like she needs to take action, or I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do something, but surrendering, sitting and watching and waiting. And in that stillness, we find the wisdom within. We, talk about mystery schools. Let's talk about this for a second. So, there's a lot that we can learn from witchcraft through about witchcraft and other practices through books and through studies and all of that. But there is also the need to put that into practice and go within. That's what mystery schools were about. It's not, I'm studying tomes of knowledge. It is, I am exploring the mysteries within and learning to find that sacred knowledge within myself, putting these ideas into practice and learning how that can work for me, finding my truth, finding my authenticity. And this is where she is gazing at this cauldron, the water on the cauldron. So, mystery schools. That's the second time that's come up in the last few days. Um, you can't learn everything from books. You can't understand everything from books. There is so much to learn going within. If indeed we believe in spirit, if indeed we believe in, the power of earth, spirits of place, nature spirits, deities, things like that, we don't connect with them through reading books. We connect with them by going into meditation, actively going into our practice, and allowing them to guide us and teach us. And that comes through meditation and going within. We also tap into our own inner wisdom. Call that Akashic records or whatever, but we connect to our soul's understanding over the lifetimes that we've lived. We allow deity or spirits or entities, angels, whatnot, to help guide us to the knowledge that we need to understand. And we transform not from reading books, but from going within and examining and finding our truth and bringing that out into the world. Nine of Stones tradition. How very, very, very interesting. I think he's got a snake in one hand and a torque, um, which is a necklace, the torque, that round necklace that comes around. A snake in one hand and a torque in the other. The torques are very, very Celtic jewelry pieces. He has antlers. He has his eyes closed. He's got these old, tall stones behind him that, and the moon. And I feel ancestral knowledge and wisdom coming through. But you know what's interesting? He's not reading books. He's meditating. He's got his feet in like kind of a, not really a lotus, but he's got, he's sitting down and meditating. His ancestors are guiding him in this. He has this beautiful, this snake, this symbol of transformation and rebirth. I'm also thinking of, my brain won't remember what it is later, but the great snake that lives in the earth and cradles the eggs, that is part of Celtic mythology. You can look that up. See if that says anything to you. But I see the ancestors now looking down on us. Certainly tradition has had its place, but now we are taking what we have learned through tradition and actually putting it into practice. Um, we are creating a foundation for ourselves, but also we cannot sit here in the shadow of the ancestors forever. And we need to be willing to expand into what our paths look like. It is a very different world now than it was 200, 300, 600 years ago. These practices are ancient, and certainly there is a value to tradition and understanding where we have come from. But where we are now in the world and where we are now in the universe in general, planetary movement and stuff is very different. And we are evolving, and it is important for us to move with that. Our ancestors have prepared us for this moment, not to keep us stuck in old ways of doing things, but to grow and change. We're healing a lot. I said, talking about ancestral healing and stuff like that. And that's what's happening right now. We need to let go of what was no longer working and keeping us sheltered and keeping us hidden, and keeping us separated. We honor the wisdom of the ancestors and tradition and those who've come before us, but we honor them also by taking that wisdom and growing it and making more and expanding it. And that's what we're being called to do right now. The journey. This is the death card in this deck. So this is abrupt change, but rebirth as well. We've got the crows here. Those are symbols of truth. They also represent on Morgan for me, who is a truth speaker. Letting go of what no longer serves us, right? What has come, what has died, what has not much left to nourish us anymore. These bones are almost picked clean, right? But there is still some truth and nourishment in there. So we are getting those last bits. But there's just, there's only so much that we can have. So we take those last bits and we take flight and we allow ourselves to transform, leaving behind what has been picked clean that no longer can sustain us, and searching for uh, new nourishment, new understandings, new growth. It's very interesting well, I think those are actually ravens, which is fine. But very interesting to see the crows picking that off. It's something I would associate more with vultures. Obviously, those are nature's cleanup crew. But The crows, the ravens are significant because it is about truth. It is about truth. And so the truth is, we need to let go of what does not sustain us, does not fulfill us, only gets us so far. Time to move on, time to transform, let go of picking at the scraps of whatever is left and find better hunting grounds, find more abundant sources of nourishment for ourselves and our lives. Three of arrows, jealousy. Wow. Arrows are arrows are swords in this deck. What a beautiful, beautiful Three of Swords card. Gosh, everything in here. The blood coming from the wooden heart that is on fire, um, hanging from the tree. We took aim. But the fire signifies, the fire is also a transformation. So, what this says to me is that, yes, it's painful, it's grief. What I said from the very beginning with the Two of Arrows here is to face the truth. And that is to face the truth of our feelings, even the difficult ones, especially the difficult ones. Discomfort. Discomfort is the only way we grow. If we sit in comfort, why would we grow? Why would we change things? We are being called to change. We are being called to look at the truth. We are being called to let go of sitting in the shadow of ancestors and others. We are being called to release what really isn't nourishing us anymore. And in order to do that, we have to face the truth of how it's harmed us. And there is grief attached to that. There is pain attached to that. There is wounding attached to that. The harm, the arrows are not in flight, they've already landed. So the harm, the pain, the worst of it has already happened. We are now setting that heart, that wooden heart, on fire, allowing it to transform. Fire is transformative. Think of the phoenix that burns itself away in flames and then arises anew. And we are allowing ourselves to feel that grief and pain and finding the understanding within it, allowing it to transform us, alchemizing that pain, alchemizing that grief, understanding the truth within it, burning away what doesn't serve us, so that we have, gosh, I was meeting with my mentor today. Had to pause for the train to pass. My mentor's name is Phoenix Rising Star. I've been working with her for 13 years and I love her so much. We've been on this journey together for a long time and we will be for a while. But like the phoenix, we burn things away, right? We burn away, we let go, we release. Um, uh, and, one of my favorite types of spell work is writing down things that we need to let go and letting them burn, right? But what I said to her today, because we're all doing a lot of healing and releasing, we're all those old wounds, the stuff that we have shoved away into corners and ignored for too long, is coming up to be healed. We now have to open our hearts, and so we're burning away that stuff, those walls, those limitations, so that our hearts can open. It's a spirit, it's a feng shui kind of thing. When we get rid of the stuff that was painful, the grief, the things that we are clinging to, we burn that away and we create room for even better to come in. And so it is so imperative for us to look at the truth, to look at the truth. I know it's been something that we've been trying to avoid, but looking at the truth has value. It's going to help us move. It's going to help us put this bow down. Not feeling like we need to defend ourselves because the pain has already happened. The hurt has already happened. And now we have to release it. Feel those feelings, look at the truth, accept our pain, accept the hurt, see how it's wounded us. And we alchemize and transmute that by learning and growing from it. What is it that we need to release? What have we learned through these painful situations? How can we alchemize that and integrate that to spring us forward into something else, releasing, making room for new, letting go of old pain that is doing nothing but holding us back, coming out of the shadow of the ancestors and allowing ourselves to follow our own individual paths, sitting in our authenticity, following our heart's desires. And when we talk about our heart's desires, a lot of times those are clouded by other people's ideas of what is best for us, our insecurities. Isn't that shadow work? Where we push all that stuff down, things about ourselves. Shadow work isn't just about, unearthing the ugly parts of ourselves and coming into peace with those. We don't just push down bad parts of ourselves. We push down our gifts. We push down beautiful, parts of our creativity and our soul um, to please others because it is more palatable for others to fit in, to get along, to go along, whatever. Shadow work is unearthing all of that and seeing it for what it is. Some things we release, some things we integrate. And this is an important time of release, letting things burn and move away from us so that we can truly focus on our heart's desires and move into a better future. And I love this King of Arrows with insight, understanding, clear mind, decisive, determined. um, it makes sense. This isn't just moving in the darkness, floating around for everybody. It is also finding the truth and using the truth that we have found to move past that hardship and pain and our old way of being. I love we have the kingfisher flying over the water, this king of arrows, king of swords, beautiful blue, beautiful orange, representing our sacral chakra, creative power, but being carried along by wings, blue representing air, the water below. So we are moving. This is transmutation. This is alchemy. We are taking that creation and we are flying over that water, over those emotional depths, over those watery depths, to a new place to land. I'm struck with this. So if you look up kingfisher, sometimes they have these long, very thin beaks, and they use those to get into stuff, to get insects, and sometimes they end up getting stuck. Like their little beaks end up getting stuck. And from what I've seen this, there's videos online, and it's sad and it's also adorable. So like if you might be out walking in nature or something, and then you see this kingfisher with his little beak stuck in something, and so you have to help them remove their beak so that they can get out of there and keep going. And that imagery in my mind really speaks of being able to help each other through this. We do not have to go it alone, and we are not supposed to, because humans by nature, as we have evolved, are social creatures. We are communal in nature. Our brain lights up, our neurology, everything about us, all of our biology, physiology, neurology shows that we are communal creatures. We thrive when we can collaborate and support each other in growth. And this is so, so important, especially right now. We have sort of forgotten how to do that. And we kind of shy away from coming together and supporting each other and giving ourselves that helping hand, getting that beak unstuck from the tree so that we're We're not stuck in those mental loops or whatever, but we're getting that help from each other, even if it's just a little support to clear those emotional depths into a new and bright future. The sun. And look at that right there in the center of the chest. That is the heart. That is the light from the heart. That is an unconditional love. We have these beautiful, oh, we have the spirals. We've got 3 spirals on each rock. You know, that's very Triskelion uh, adjacent for me. Oh, and the chalk horse. This beautiful chalk horse. So this is like, you know, not forgetting the wisdom of our ancestors, right? We don't let that go. We honor it. But we move into this bright future full of flowers and the mysteries of life represented by these spirals, that spiral of life, that spiral of time, even that spiral of existence. We are ignited. This is like the transformation. We are burning away the old and being reborn by allowing the old to burn away, opening our hearts and stepping into this brilliant new future. And it's been a lot of hard work. This is so beautiful, though. He's in his cave. He's carving all these beautiful figures. He's got 3 oil lamps. 3, 1, 2, 3. That's a lot of threes. There's a lot of 3 symbolism in these cards, even if the cards aren't 3. We've got the 3 oil lamps. We've got the 3 lights burning. The threefold nature. The handprint. So this is collective learning. This is not just from our ancestors, but across uh, human existence and human development, going from, you know, simple stone tools to oil lamps, coming out from the darkness into the light. Do I have one more card? I guess I do. Knight of Stones, horse. And this is a prehistoric horse, which I absolutely love. I love those, which kind of ties to the, you know, to this guy, right? Cave paintings like the ones in France, those big, beautiful prehistoric creatures that are painted on the wall. The landscape of the Knight of Stones here is a little bleak. There's not a lot of vegetation. There's some clouds in the sky. There are mountains in the background. There is a stream. But he is following a path, and he is continuing to follow that path. There is enough nourishment on that path if he needs to stop and graze. It may not be, you know, a big field of grasses that you can feast on, but it is enough. It is enough to keep you going down that path to that beautiful transformation and new beginning. 3111 on the timer. Enjoy your new beginning. Now is the time. Keep going. Keep following that path. Don't go back. But most importantly, be honest with yourself. I don't think I don't think we are as good at lying to anybody as we are at lying to ourselves, at hiding our own truths. And that is what all of this speaks to. Um, Having and holding empathy and compassion for ourselves, looking at our feelings and our emotions with curiosity, wonder, and love to understand and release what we need to release. Facing the truth within ourselves that is worth its weight in gold and will help us transform into a powerful new beginning. We're well on our way, folks. We are well on our way. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Love you. Bye.